Hi, I'm Julia and this is my shed. So we're starting a new project this week, and you might be thinking, hold on Julia, you haven't finished the last project yet, what are you doing? And yeah, I'm just going to have a little bit of a break from the Britannia. I'm getting a little bit jaded on it. I'm struggling to make videos interesting, and I think looking at the viewing figures, they've dropped off a little bit as well, so I think perhaps you need a bit of a break from it as well. So I've got, it's a bit of a weird story with this one, but I've got basically parts to make 3 more of these locos, and what it is it's a Linda and Blanche model, live steam gas fired, and it was designed by a guy called Pete Boggis, and he was in partnership with Steve Hodson, yeah, Steve Hodson. Unfortunately, Steve's passed away. He used to run Charman Wheels. Unfortunately, he's passed away, and one of his relatives has inherited some of the parts, and there's a few bits missing. That sounds familiar. That sounds right up my street. But for the most part, most of it's there. So I've basically got to produce some more of these. In particular, the main thing that is missing is the boilers. So I need to make 3 boilers, and so that, I think I've got the end plates, but I haven't got much else. So that'll be quite interesting. Hopefully, we can get some interesting videos out of that. And I'll, if I get a chance, I'll show you some of the parts. It seems to be made to an extraordinarily high standard. I'm not sure if these parts are CNC machined, but these castings are fantastic, and you probably can't see from that angle, but if I bring you underneath, let's turn the light on, you might be able to see then. There we go. So if you actually look underneath, the shape of this cylinder casting is incredible. It's really, really nicely made. So yeah, the quality of the work is really nice. It has actually got proper valve gear as well. Hopefully you can see that, but it's proper Stephenson's valve gear. There you go, you can see that a bit better now, hopefully. It all just looks very, very nicely made. So I've got sort of wheel set assemblies. I've got the cranks. I've got most of the connecting rods, I think. I've got the cylinder assemblies and the chassis. We've got gas tanks. These are gas fired. So we've got gas tanks. We've also got the smoke box as well. So and a lot of the bodywork has been painted. So we've got a lot of the parts there. This shouldn't be quite as mad a escapade as the Britannia is. And what we have actually got is this. I think this is the prototype. We've got this, which, yeah, the chassis appears to be complete. So what I'd like to do in this episode is make up an adapter so we can run this on air, and then we'll just see how well it runs. And then perhaps we'll start dismantling it to take the boiler out, so I can take some measurements from it to make some more. But yeah, I'm not sure how many of these were made in the end. It looks, I believe the relative that's contacted me about building these up, he has one fully built one, so I've taken a few photos of that, and it looks a really nice little loco actually. And I've always, I mean, because of my age, I never saw mainline steam, but what did sort of, when I was a child, we did go and visit the Fistiniog a couple of times, and that I think that's what got the steam bug going in me, I suppose, to a certain extent. And it's I've always preferred narrow gauge. I mean, I'm more of a fan of the Teleflin these days, but I've got very much a very large soft spot for the narrow gauge locos, and in particular Hunslets actually. So this is quite a nice little job for me. So I'm quite looking forward to having a play with these. So I'll probably try and do a few videos as we go along. There won't be much machining. There will be a bit of boiler making, which might be of interest to some of you. I've sort of had quite good luck with building small boilers in the past, so I'm hoping that continues with this one. So I think the first thing to do is we'll fire up the lathe and we'll make an adapter. So I've got, I believe that's an 1/8 BSP, and I've got some 1/4 BSP push fittings. So we need to make an adapter from 1/8 to 1/4. I think I've got the taps and dies to do that. So yeah, we'll do that first and see if this runs on air. I mean, if it runs on air, that's going to be fantastic. It means that really this is a make a boiler and then an assembly job, which might be quite fun for a change. So yeah, so we'll do that. We'll try and get it running on air, and if we get time, I'll show you some of the parts that I've got. Hopefully you'll find that interesting. So the tap and die I've got for 1/8 BSP says 28 TPI. So I've just got the thread gauges there, and hopefully you can see those just marry up with the old threaded part. So I know we're on the right track. And I've actually got a setup for the with the correct drill and everything for the other side. So happy days for that. So let's get off to the lathe. Okay, so I've got a bit of I think it's 14mm across flats brass bar there. So we'll get that cleaned up. I need to turn it down to 9.5mm. So for starters, we'll clean up the end because it's just straight off the power hacksaw. Oh, helps if we tighten it up as well, doesn't it? There's a slight disadvantage with the 6-jaw chuck. It doesn't actually, you have to be a bit careful when you're gripping 6-sided things, paradoxically. Because unless you get everything lined up properly, it all starts to go a bit funny. Zero that, and then we'll see where we get to. See how we're getting on. That's 13.27. Right, so we've set up our DRO. We can now take another 3mm off. Stand the rail back because I'm getting showered with glitter. Not that there's anything wrong with glitter. This is quite spiky glitter. Okay, so we'll do a couple of quins. Just to separate ourselves from the animals, really. on. Stick that out a bit further. That's good. Right, so the next job is to get a thread on there. Okay, so I've got the die set up, so we'll see if we can do this by hand. Yeah, that seems to be threading on nicely. Add a little bit of cutting oil, make life a bit easier. Use the spanner just to get a slightly better grip. So these jaws are cast iron, so you can't put any sort of twisting stress on them really. So I think probably what I'll do is I'll finish this off in the vise and just put a die handle on it, I think. So it's quite a big diameter thread. I've got somebody going mad up with the chainsaw at the moment, massacring something outside, so I'll shut the door. So this is a lot easier to do in the vise because you need a fair amount of force because it's quite a large diameter thread. And what tends to happen with the tailstock die holder is the Morse taper starts to slip and then you're into a world of pain. So I think that'll do. There we go. That's a nice looking thread. Actually, this isn't the cleanest of doesn't seem to be a great fit, does it? There's quite a lot of PTFE sealing stuff in this, in the original thread, so it seems to be going in okay. Needs a little bit of welly. Let's have a look at the threads. Yeah, looks okay. I think it might make sense to clean up this thread with the corresponding tap, actually, if I can. Okay, it took a bit of getting started actually. I think it's because it's cast iron, it has rusted a little bit, but as you can see there's quite a lot of rust on there, but we've now cleaned the threads up quite nicely, so I think that'll do the trick. Yes. Oh yes, that's much better. Much better. So we need to do this other end and drill a hole through. So let's go back to the lathe. Okay, so I'll start drilling from this side, just so it looks nice. And we've got a 3mm drill. Probably nearly all the way through, but we can come back to that in a minute. So next job is to get a flat on this side. We'll do that. Yep, that looks good. Pop a little quin on the end, just so it's nice to handle. But bear in mind that this sort of thing we are using our hands to manipulate them, so we want them to be nice and comfortable in the hands. Finish the pilot hole. Okay, so now we can drill out for the tap. It's quite handy having the tapping drill size to hand. Oh dear. Try again. I think that'll do. Yeah. Okay, let's get the die set up. So, because it's quite a short blind thread, we can't really get many threads in on that one. That was the number 2 tap as well, so we'll just go in with the bottoming tap, I think, in this particular instance. Try again. Yeah, not many threads actually. Hardly any at all, in fact. I should try this in the vise again, I think. Okay, so I've managed to get a couple more turns on that. Got to be a bit careful. I haven't got a huge wall size there, so can't squeeze it. Hopefully that will fit in now. Yeah, there we go. That doesn't look too bad, does it? Lovely. Right, so I'll get some PTFE or a bit of sealant, thread sealer on that, and we'll see how we get on. Might be good enough with just a bit of thread sealer. So for steam type threads, we're using 542 or airtight threads, which is a red one. So just put a tiny dribble on there. It's quite runny, this red stuff, so there we go. Just tighten it up onto those partially cut threads, and that should lock up quite nicely. There we go. That's that one done. I think it's the red stuff that's it does attack paint, so you have to be a bit careful when you're using the red stuff, especially around obviously painted parts. This might need PTFE on it, but I'm going to give the red stuff a bit of a go, because I've had a lot of good success with it in the past. Looking a bit dry there. There we go. Ah, nice and tight. Good and tight, as the Germans say. Good and tight. Okay, so there we go. We'll let the sealant flash off for a minute, and then we'll get the air compressor in and see what happens. That's quite exciting. Let me know if you're excited. Will it run first time, or will it be a total disaster? Please leave a comment now, and then we'll see if you were correct or not. No cheating now. Okay, so place your bets. Let's put it into forward. Oh yes. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? That's very nice. I'm just moving the throttle. The throttle's quite an unusual design. So that's closed. Let's try it the opposite way. So we're set at about 40 psi, I think, at the moment, according to the, maybe slightly over 50 perhaps. About 45 to 50 psi. Okay, let's bring you in a bit closer then, shall we? Because this is rather spectacular. I have to say, I'm not surprised. Looking at how the quality of how this has been made, I'm not surprised at all. This is a very nicely put together loco. It's obviously had quite a bit of running in as well, but I'm not sure if you can see the something going over the top of the axle there, the push rods. So it's quite a tight little setup. That's running in forwards now. That looks well, that's spectacularly good, isn't it? Hey! I'm very pleased with that. I'll try and turn it round so you can see the regulator, because that is quite an interesting design as well. So here you can see this is the regulator. It's been designed for radio control. So that's almost closed, obviously. There you go. So closed. I don't think you'd ever have it that fast. It's quite crazy, but yeah, very good. So there's some interesting aspects to this end of the boiler actually. I think we'll go over while we're looking at it from this direction. So you have a top feed. I think that's a fill plug, so you fill up the boiler and then you unscrew this and let water out until no more comes out, so that gives you your top fill level. It's unusual to see hard soldered pipe coming out of the boiler for the pressure gauge, and then we've got a bush here for the regulator. So basically there's two bushes and a pipe coming out of this end, so it's not going to be too bad to make, I don't think. If we come around this side, so this sort of dummy brake thing, which is bent unfortunately, that's your gas feed, and that comes up here into the back of the burner assembly, and then that's obviously your filler for the gas. So you don't really need very much you don't really need much movement on the gearing to get it to run quite nicely. In fact, if you pull the gearing back too far, it tends to run a bit rougher, I think. I don't know if you can hear that, as I get closer to the centre position, it actually speeds up. So when you're notching up, you can actually go fast. But I don't think you need to go fast. This sort of loco isn't designed to go fast. But I have to say, I mean, wow, what a great little thing! What an absolutely great little thing! I have to say, I'm quite enthused by this. Such a lovely design, absolutely amazing. So I can see there might be a few bits that we're missing, but as usual. But I think we'll be okay. What I need to do is I've got a list of all the parts that I should have. A little bit of oil on some of the moving parts there. Yeah, this is a nice little loco, very nice. So there we go. I'll just bring that back. So I'm going to count that as a success. I'll just make this a short one this week, but let me know what you think. Is this something that's interesting to you guys? Do you want to watch me assemble some of these and obviously make a small boiler? I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I've had quite a decent success making small boilers, so I think I've got some idea of what I'm doing. So hopefully I can transfer some of that knowledge into a YouTube video. So I'll probably leave it here for this week. This is just a short one. The weather's been unseasonably warm this week, so I haven't really felt like coming in the workshop. So I mean, I'm actually filming this on a Friday afternoon, so I've got to edit this tomorrow and then publish it on Sunday. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you like it? Is it appealing? I think it's a lovely looking thing, but then I'm biased. So yeah, let me know. I'll take you in the house and just show you some of the bits and bobs I've got, so you get some feel for what we've got. There's some really nicely painted parts actually. I think the guy Steve that's these came from, he was a very talented painter by the looks of it. So yeah, really nice. So I'll show you some of the parts, and we'll call it a day for this week. But if I get a decent response, you know, plenty of messages saying people are interested, I'll carry on filming. If not, I'll just dibble dabble, you know, when I feel like it. Okay, I'll just take you in the house, I think. And so you'll have to excuse the mess. I've started to sort of sort through what I've got here. So I've split up the bodywork and the chassis into separate boxes, and then all this stuff that's laid out on my coffee table is all the small parts. So I've got 3 gas tanks, which appear to have been tested. I've got end caps for some of the boilers, but I think only one's actually been drilled. And it may not be drilled correctly, actually. Looking at it, it seems to have a lot more things on it than it should do, but we'll have a look at that. I've got some of the connecting rods, sorry, coupling rods rather, but possibly not enough. Lots of small little bits. That's the smoke box doors. This is some of the cranks, and we've got lots and lots of little parts in boxes. One fantastic thing is we have got pressure gauges. This is the brand that I normally buy. They're made in Britain, as you can see, very good quality. So it's great to have those. They're quite expensive to buy now. We've got some bits of the burners, got some nameplates, a few bits and bobs there. We've got some spectacle rings. So we've got quite a lot of parts. Let's bring you into this box. So if you look there, we've got a chassis with the smoke box already fitted. It's got a bit more detailing than the one that's in the workshop, so that's quite nice. Look at the lining there, that's a lot better than I can do. So it's got all the bushes fitted to the frames as well, so that's quite nice. Yeah, I've got several chassis. These are the cylinder assemblies. So again, they've been painted, some of them. And so the main problem I have got is that this is the wheel assembly. Some of the wheel assemblies have got rusty, so we'll have to have a look at that. Again, actually it's just the wheels, actually, not the actual. But all the valve gear is complete. I think I've got 3 sets of valve gear. So that's all pretty cool. And then this box is all full of bodywork. So there's some unpainted parts, like this. So I'll just show you this one. So that's quite nicely done. And then there's some painted ones as well. There's tanks, the saddle tanks. There's one of the saddle tanks actually. So it's all, I mean, the level of detail and the quality of the work is outstanding, really outstanding. So I'm quite looking forward to doing this actually. It's I'm not going to say it's going to be a quick job, but it's going to be a fun one. So yeah, we've got basically a crate full of chassis parts, we've got a crate full of bodywork, and a tabletop full of small bits. And luckily I've got a folder full of drawings, so which is just phenomenal. So for any parts that are missing, I can actually manufacture them. In particular, there is a boiler drawing somewhere. That's the burner, I think. So yeah, oh yeah, that's the end of the boiler. So I think those end plates might not be correct, but I shall do some investigation. And I've got a list of parts. So I think the first job I need to do is quite a boring one, which is to go through and see what parts I've got, make a list of what parts are missing. I think we've got parts to build 3 more locos, and obviously hopefully bodywork to finish off that loco. That's it's a prototype, so it hasn't got such well detailed chassis, but it's also nearly finished, so I will probably have a look at that. But yeah, should keep me amused anyway. So yeah, leave me your thoughts, let me know what you think. I say the one thing I definitely know I need to do is make the boilers. So we'll definitely do an episode on that at the very least. And yeah, so anyway, I'll leave it there. That's quite enough waffling for one day. And yeah, so let me know what you think. If you think it's something that you'd like to see, please leave a note. If you think it's not so boring, say again, just say, "Oh, carry on with the Britannia," you know, if you want me to do that. I probably won't, but let me know anyway. At least I know who I'm upsetting then. Okay then, so yeah, like, share and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.